These schools open back up.
Well, tomorrow, if they have power,
Might be close.
right?
I never knew something by my house flooded. And there's a lot of flooding in Trinity. And it was all over Facebook, and I was like,
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I went out on, good morning, guys, and we are Facebook Live too, or it's not Facebook, YouTube Live, so it's exciting morning. Yeah, there was, I went out just to kind of check things out on Friday because I hadn't been out in so long. And 54 at Mitchell was completely underwater. So the final insult. All this technology to work will be dangerous.
That was quick.
Yeah, it was good. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to those of you joining us at America's Gurus on YouTube. Excited to have this new feature, and we're going to be using this moving forward for all of our training classes. This is REM 103, Advanced Farming. So let's go ahead and get going. In the words of Daryl Davis, farming and real estate, like agriculture, is an art. It's about planting seeds, cultivating leads, and seeing what will develop. The key, of course, is to consistently nourish your real estate farm with mailings and events. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago, if you're going to farm, you need to continually have marketing materials going out, follow up in place. Personal contact is a great way of reiterating what you're doing. All of these types of things will make your farm grow and keep it going. It's like if you plant a garden and you don't fertilize it and you don't water it, what's going to happen? Your garden's going to die. It's the same thing in real estate farming. So why should you farm? Well, for those of you that are new to real estate, you know that your first 6 months to a year, you're chasing business, right? Trying to come up with any which way and do whatever you need to do. But you need to, you're out chasing business. You're calling for sale by owners, you're calling expired listings, you're working your sphere of influence, you're trying to build your sphere of influence. Once you get established in this business and you start doing some deals, what's going to happen and why you farm is, again, business will start coming to you. So for that person that sends out 500 postcards, 1,000 postcards every month that you see when you get them in your mailbox, a certain percentage, if not a big percentage of their business now comes to them. And the reason is they're able to afford farming, right? Because they've got deals that'll actually pay for it. Most people don't walk in this business saying, oh, I've got 500 extra dollars a month to advertise, right? But once you get to the point where you do, you can start advertising and business will start coming to you. You can do less cold calling. Now, listen, this is not saying that you can't or that you have to, that you can stop making calls. You still need to make calls. For sale by owners, again, expired listings, sphere of influence, just listed, just sold, whatever it is that's in your playbook, you need to continue that for the rest of your career. If you don't, you can be a top realtor. If you stop doing that, what's going to happen? Your sales are going to start to drop. However, as you start farming and doing things like this, maybe you don't have to do 3 full hours a day. Maybe you can cut it to 2, make, your life a little more pleasant. So understand that you could have less cold calling once you get your farm going, and understand it's a non-threatening way to prospect. Farming creates steady business and a steady flow of leads and income. I spelled steady wrong there. All right, so I'm going to give you 5 concepts of farming. Number 1, have a targeted group that you implement the 3-3 rule on. What is my 3-3 rule? Just as a reminder, whenever you meet someone in person, you hand them 3 business cards, right? And you say 3 things to them. What are the 3 things you say to them? Number 1, you say to them, your name. Hi, I'm Bill Zeltman. Number 2, I tell them what I do for a living. I am one of the managing brokers of Realty One Group Beyond. And number 3, what do I say? If you or anyone you know has a real estate need, I'd appreciate getting in touch with me. That's the 3-3 rule. So your first concept of farming is having a targeted group that you implement the 3-3 rule on. You let everybody know who you are, what you do for a living, and that if they have a real estate need or their friend has a real estate need, they should call you. Become a local public figure. Guys, this is what my MyTown Guru system is all about. It's not just about making you the local real estate expert. It's about making you the person that knows everything going on. And as we've talked about many times, people are only interested in the things they're interested in now. What does that mean? If I'm not looking to buy or sell a house, I could care less that you're a real estate agent, right? But I am interested in what's going on in the local schools, or I'm interested in the next show that's coming up at the local theater, or I'm interested in the sporting event or the concert, and fill in the blank. So if I become a local public figure and share all of this type of information while continuing to remind everybody using the 3-3 rule of who I am, what I do for a living, and that they should call me with their real estate needs or with their friends, what's going to happen? Well, here's what's going to happen. When people in your farm think of real estate, they're going to think of you. And that's what we're trying to do. And it's done using a variety of techniques, including mailings, advertising, social media, door knocking, and more. Most realtors, and this goes back to your old school realtors, are lazy, okay? They will just do mailers, or just put an ad on a newspaper, God forbid, or a billboard, God forbid. I mean, those techniques are washed up. Not to say there's no merit to them, but they're very expensive, and the return on investment isn't there of what you can do with digital marketing. I want you guys doing it all, okay? So yeah, send a mailer, okay? But knock on their door. Show up and have a door hanger there. Have something where you can meet the person and have a conversation with them. Social media. Whatever you do physically, and I mean physically, like if you have a postcard or a door hanger or a letter, or you're going to have an event like we talked about and all those other things, right? What I want you to do is I want you to also put it on social media. Why? Well, first of all, people respond to different things. We'll start with that. When I go home, my mailbox is down at the end of the driveway. The walk up my driveway, I'm going through the mail, sorting it. And 99% of what comes in my mailbox goes directly into my trash can. Never enters my house. Well, it enters the garage, never makes it past the garage, right in the trash can. Many people are like that. But there are many people that live for that local newspaper that has what's going on it. The local ads in those papers, the penny savers. They'll read the postcards they get. That's a different breed of person than I am, and that's okay, because this is, again, the point that I'm trying to make. People look at things in different ways. So that's one reason. The other reason, which is really important, is reinforcement. You guys hear me talk about, I made that horrible graphic of the spokes and the bikes in the marketing wheel. And we talk about bike spokes, right? If you go out to ride a bike and there's one spoke sitting through it, what's going to happen? The wheel's going to collapse. If you have a bunch of spokes, which is how bike wheels are made, what's going to happen? You're going to ride and it's going to be a smooth ride. It's the same thing here. They all those spokes, those little spokes, reinforce each other. I want your advertising reinforcing it. So for the person that saw your postcard, hour later, the day later, it doesn't matter. They are now on social media and they see and they're hopefully a member of your follow your page, or they're a member of your Facebook group, or you're on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. They see that exact same piece, right? What happens? Boom, it refreshes their memory. We talked about the anchoring technique, right? In one of your very first weeks of this training, talked about the anchoring technique. What's the anchoring technique? You get somebody's number that's interested in real estate. What do? You call them and you bombard them for the first 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? But then what do? You back off. Well, this is the same thing. You're bombarding them. So now they're getting the mailer from you, or the door knocker, or the letter, or whatever physical thing they have. Secondly, they're getting the social media blast. And third, and this is a big part of this, and I hope you do this too, they get a follow-up phone call from you. Hey, I'm the guy that you follow on social media. I'm the guy that sent you the postcard about what's going on in the local real estate market. I was just introducing myself to see if you had any questions, right? So you're 3-3ing them on the phone. You're hitting them in a variety of ways, and that's the first concept. Second concept of farming: learn basic prospecting skills before you farm. Okay. So again, some of you, especially if you're in this boot camp program, you're probably in your first 6 months or so of being a realtor, or maybe you became a realtor but you didn't kind of get your career going. So this is, we're going through the 26 weeks here of some of the basics. Well, maybe you're still working on your prospecting skills. That's okay. Make sure you learn those basic prospecting skills before you farm. Be good at it. Be good at calling your friends, doing the 3-3 rule, looking for business. Be good at getting into your daily habit of calling your expired listings, your daily habit of your FSBOs, cold calling. And again, when I say cold calling, I don't mean just like picking up the phone book and starting at A and working your way through the book. They used to do that back in the day. I had a friend that was a realtor back in the early 90s, long before I was even thought about getting into real estate. And, he was a real old guy. He was like 40. Anyway, he stayed after everybody in the office. This is in the day when everybody worked in the real estate office. Now, we were on a barrier island. So, it was a really nice place, a lot of vacation homes, mostly vacation homes. And he spent 20 minutes after everybody left the office of calling, starting in A. And he said that basically once a week, he was getting a listing from making those calls. I'm like, wow, that's pretty darn good. But these days, with robocalls and all this other stuff, you need to call. You can't just call somebody completely dead cold. Now, and I know there's probably some of you out there that are saying, oh, I do it and it works. Okay, yeah. But I would tell you to be a little more targeted. So what I would call cold calling is calling a neighborhood, like you say, calling your farm, where at least they have kind of a warmer introduction because they've gotten your postcard or they've seen you on social media. Oh, you're that guy, or oh, you're that. Yeah, I know you. You're that person that always posts whatever. It makes it a lot easier. Just listed, just sold calls is part of cold calling. And again, you can do that if you do that in areas that you work. Hopefully people know you because of other things you're doing, going back to the first concept, which was making yourself that local expert. Networking. Do you guys get out and go to networking things? I know for some people, they're a little shy at it and whatever else. And I get that. Let me tell you something. You go to networking events. Let me tell you the secret about being successful at networking events. Nobody's going to a networking event to meet you, and they don't care about you. Well, wait a minute. Well, then why would I go? Well, let me explain. I always like saying it like this. Everybody goes to these events to shill their wares, right? I used to run these things in my office when I first started in real estate. We used to call it spa night. And I had a masseuse come in. I had people come in. They had that green tea stuff that used to paint your face with that made your skin good. You know, one of those multi-level marketing scams. I had a bunch of those types of people, you know, Amway, whatever they're trying to do. And I said, yeah, we got all these people here trying to shill their wares. And what you saw was, yeah, some people came in because I had free wine and cheese, and who's not going to show up for that, right? So we invited the, you know, the local neighborhoods and whatever. But what you really realized is the guy selling his whatever he was selling, his happy tea, that was the other one, the happy coffee or the happy tea or whatever the heck that junk is. You know, they used to have, you guys ever see on social media? It's a school project. How many cups of coffee do you drink a day? I don't know if you guys ever saw that on social media. But they had that, it was all over the place, people doing it. What they were trying to do was get you to say 3, 4, 5, or whatever it would do. And I was going to, ew, coffee's disgusting, because I knew what they were trying to do. And for any of you that don't know me, I drink Wawa iced tea every day. I don't drink coffee. But that was their whole catch, is they were trained to pull people in. So anyway, point being, everybody was there for their own self-benefit. What I learned to do, and what I'm going to teach you guys, is to go in and you're all about them, not about you. Because what's going to end up happening, they're going to like you. You're going to build a relationship with them. And sooner or later, you may not have somebody that wants to go join their little Amway Kool-Aid drinking scam. But sooner or later, they're going to know somebody that is looking to buy or sell. And if you played your relationship card right with them at these networking events, you can meet people that will be loyal to you right and left. Another great example of this is, what was I going to say? Oh, when you have somebody that, like my pub crawls, I bring business to these places, 100 to 150 people, about once a month. I do it about 9 times a year, right? They love me. Who doesn't want 150 people coming in, eating and drinking in your establishment on a day that would have been a slower day? I try to pick days that are, you know, a little bit slower. Same idea. So what you do is you go to these networking events. Don't be nervous. And don't be like everybody else, throwing your business cards around like, you know, you're trying to make it rain. What you want to do is go up and just slowly have conversations. And instead of, certainly introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Bill Zeltman, a managing broker, Realty One Group Beyond. Here's my card. But then before I go to my third point, because that's what everybody does. Hi, I'm Joe from Amway. Do you want to drink my Kool-Aid and join a multi-level marketing? And I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of Amway for anybody out there that's on Amway, but you know, you guys get what I'm saying. Instead of going right to my third point, which is what everybody else is going to do, what's your name? Oh, what do you do? Oh, tell me about it. And now that person's going to open up and they're going to tell you all about it. Make sure you take their card. You know, make sure you get their information, and then finish with, well, you know, I'm going to check around anybody that I know that may be interested in this. I know a lot of people. I'm going to let them know. All I ask in return is if you hear of anybody that's looking to buy or sell a house, please let me know. Now you just had a pleasant conversation. That person did most of the work because they did all the talking, telling you about how their little happy coffee's going to, you know, whatever. Right? And you're done. And you go to the next, you go to the next, you go to the next. The other thing I'm going to tell you about networking, and again, I kind of got on a tangent on this, but it's important because so many people don't network and they're afraid to network and they don't do it right, is you call the person the next day. Pick up the phone, call the person the next day, and just say, hey, I was calling you. It was great meeting you last night, blah, 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 blah. Let's stay in touch. And you put them into your sphere. But anyway, back to our real concept, which is before you do all that, make sure you're doing the things we're talking about here. Remember that farming is a long-term strategy, right? It's a marketing effort. There's what's prospecting efforts have a quicker return on investment. Marketing efforts have a long term. You guys that are new need business now. So make sure you're doing your daily things every day and understand that farming is going to be for you down the road to make your life easier, make your life better, and get you even more business. Well, I'm going to teach you some things that are going to hopefully speed this process up. I always tell people that farming takes a year or two. Number 3, you got to have a marketing hook. Decide who you will be in this business, right? So my marketing hook when I first got in was I called myself Bay House Bill. I'm a boater. For any of you that don't know, I grew up on a bay in New Jersey. Made it really simple to go with that, and I went after houses that had docks, bulkheads, riparian rights, that type of thing. Nowadays, I switched it after a year or two. I kind of switched it out, and I used the guru thing. Why? Because I learned how important it was to be that person that knows everything going on in the town, like we talked about a couple slides back. So, people, oh, hey, there's Newport Richie's guru. And when I walk through town, people kind of say, will say that and here and there because it's my slogan. My real slogan is no one knows your town like the official town guru. Okay. Find a slogan that works for you. I had a guy that works for me and his slogan, his first name's Rich, get rich in real estate. What a greater slogan than that, right? Get rich in real estate. It wouldn't work for me, get a real estate bill. Yeah, no, nobody wants that. Anyway, but that's why you have to be creative and find something that works for you because those types of slogans stick in people's heads and they remember you. Define your target audience. What type of houses do you want to work? I had a guy that worked for me in the early years. He was actually one of my neighbors, and he did really well with this. He called himself the condo king. He decided he was going to go condos and townhomes. And darn if he didn't put a crown on his head in his pictures and send them out. And he looked like a complete, whatever. But it worked. He was in costume. He didn't show up to his meetings with the guy who used to, hey, dude, you wearing your crown to the your listing appointments today? No, shut up. But yeah, but it was a great gimmick. Because think about this. If you own a townhome or a condo, you're going to work with any realtor or some guy that is the condo king. I want the king. So think about that. And, as you define your target audience, what houses will you work with and create a slogan around it? Maybe you'll target people for your previous profession. We get a lot of people from law enforcement, military, things like that. And they go and they work with people that they used to work with in those things. Works great. Target from your success. And again, you have to get in this or whatever, but example, I sell a house every 7 days. I don't think anybody on this particular call is doing that yet, but you will once you learn these concepts. But learn to speak from your success. Again, going back to the Bayfront. Hey, I just sold a $1.6 million Bayfront. It doesn't sound like a lot now. It was when I did in 2015. But that's the type of stuff you want to work towards. Number 4, have a targeted, narrow focus. Alan Dalton, past president of Realtor.com, taught me this. He said, when people think about real estate and they think about, all these things, I want them to be a laser, not the sun. Well, what does that mean? The sun is infinitely more powerful than a laser, right? But when a laser is used, what happens? It can burn a hole through a wall. Why? Why doesn't the sun burn a hole through a wall? Because the sun is broadcasting everywhere, right? What's the laser doing? It's going to one specific place. Don't try to be all things to all people, right? You get started in this business and you say, oh, I'm going to target here. I'm going to do beach houses. I'm going to do bay houses. I'm going to do downtown high rises. I'll do it all. And so you do something over here. You do something over there. A little of everything. What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. does not work in real estate because you never get your message out. Yeah, there are big teams out there that maybe do globally broadcast, but it's because they've been in the business for 20, 25 years and they have the funds to be able to hit multiple channels. You guys are new, hit one channel and hit it hard. Pick a town, be the expert of that town. Again, a specific niche, the Condo King, Bay House Bill. Pick a specific type of house. Like, you know, there's not as many different types in Florida, but, pick a Florida house, pick pool houses, farm to people in a specific club, a group, a fraternal organization. There are some breakout sessions that I'll give you guys, but Honoring Our Heroes is a great program. That's not to be confused with Florida's program of down payment assistance that they do with mortgages. This is a separate program that I wrote 10 years ago where we give people a rebate off your commission. We get the title company to work with us or the mortgage company, again, to give a rebate back. And it's a great way to walk into schools, walk into hospitals, doctors, nurses, ambulance, EMT, and get them to realize, hey, I'm honoring you with this. You want to buy a house? You're going to get a check back, a rebate back at the closing table. Farm to people with similar hobbies, interests, or specific demographics. Let me give you a weird one. I have an agent that does very, very well. He created a Facebook group on this and everything else. Chess. Bunch of chess players. He's doing great. I was like, man, that might be a little, when I talk about narrow, that's, anybody here play chess? And again, nothing against, I like chess. I haven't played in 20 years probably, but, it's not a passion or a hobby for me. But let me give you some other similar hobbies. My boat, farming to people in my marina, right? Great idea. My golf club, right? Talking to people about golf, great idea. So find something similar that you like. Okay, number 5, prepare for 6 months. I'm going to amend this. And our timing here is perfect because you guys are going to hear this lesson again in another week. We're going to start business planning. It is October. Why do I start doing business planning now? Because if you don't start business planning now, you're already behind the 8 ball for 2025. We want everything to be ready and done so that when you walk out of here at the end of October, you can start implementing 2025. So I'm going to tell you not to even prepare for 6 months, prepare for 12 months. Okay. But minimum, you need to at least make sure that you have the money for 6 months of marketing. I'm going to show you some ways you're doing this that are going to help you have this and get this planned. So have your first 6 months of to a year, and really a year, pre-planned. Do not quit. Oh man, I did this for 4 months. I haven't gotten anything. No, you won't get anything. What did I tell you before? It takes a year. But if you keep hitting it, and of course, use some of the reinforced marketing like we talked about, what's going to end up happening is it will maybe it will happen a little bit faster, right? But the long term of this is you're going to be in a situation where you're going to win, that you're going to get business coming to you, and that's what we're trying to do with farming. Develop your farm. 6-step process. Use this 6-step process to develop and maintain your farm so you can consistently attract clients. Number 1, select your target market. Oh, real hard. Yeah, nobody could have guessed that one coming, right? No, it's simple. Style of home, pools, colonials, capes. Notice I wrote this when I was in New Jersey. They don't have any of those down here, but that's okay. Pick the top style of home. Unique niches. The thing that gets me living in Florida is managing hundreds of realtors here. I've never had anybody that's told me they wanted to be a 55 plus expert. Because they're everywhere, man. That's half our population. Waterfronts, multifamily, condos, farms, lots, land, whatever it is, pick a niche. Profession, teachers, first responders, your last profession. Location, where will your farm be? Make it someplace close to your home base, whether you want to make it close to your office if you work in the office every day, or if you want to make it close to where you live, don't make it an hour away, because when somebody calls you at 3 o'clock on Saturday to see a class on Sunday, and now you got to jump in your car and drive that way, and you're not getting home till 7 o'clock at night, you're not going to be happy. When you have to drive 5 minutes down the road, what do you care? You could have been laying in your pool. You get out, you put something over your bathing suit. Don't go in your bathing suit, but make yourself look nice. Takes 5 minutes. You drive down the road 5 minutes. You take them through. Maybe you write an offer. Maybe you don't. Either way, you're back at your house in an hour. Number 2, develop the size of your farm. Bigger the better, but understand, then I'm going to make a 10,000 person farm. Okay, you have money to send things to 10,000 people? Probably not. But you want to have at least 500 people. That's the big enough sample to actually get your business going. What I always tell agents is, once you get it going, you start to see it go, double your size, right? Or whatever, and make it bigger as you can afford to. I like using postal carrier routes. Here's why. You can use every door direct mail. It's a service from the U.S. Post Office. I've got some third-party companies that will create stuff for you and whatever. You do have to use their sizes and whatever else, but it is a fraction of the cost to mail, because it doesn't have people's names on it and whatever. It just goes to every, you ever get those little inserts that you get in the mail? They're way cheaper than you sending a postcard or a letter, because they just go to every house. So they're just sorted in there. Neighborhood considerations. You want to work a particular development. Working the development that you live in many cases, is a great idea, as people get to know you. Number 3, choose your location. I already went through this. Make sure it's in the service area of your office. We service the entire state of Florida, so no worries there. Is your office and brand known in the area? The answer to that obviously is yes. Our brand is taking over real estate, which is fantastic. Make sure yours is too, for anybody that's not on YouTube and not necessarily with our company. Choose a high turnover area. What does that mean? What's a high turnover area? A high turnover area is an area where both houses are going on the market and where houses are selling. You don't want to go into a neighborhood that has 53 listings and 0 people looking to buy them, because you can build your inventory, right? But what good is a listing that just sits there? So you want supply and demand. Also, try to pick an area with less competition. If there's 10 people farming in that area, that's probably too many. If there's 1 or 2, that's fine. You can compete with them. You're going to get your fair share of the business. Become a techie. You must be able to use the power of technology. Cole's Realty Resource, great way to get names. Not just names, phone numbers, email addresses, all those types of things. You need to have some type of a tool, and I can help you guys with this, to be able to collect the names, phone numbers, addresses, email addresses of the people that are in your farm. Are you going to get all of them? No. Do I have tricks that you can get people that are unlisted? Yes, including doing a neighborhood yard sale, which is an event that will cost you absolutely almost nothing. And of course, they have to register, which how are they going to register? Give you your name, address, email, and phone number. Boom, got it. Having a neighborhood barbecue, having a raffle. We'll get all types of techniques to get that. You want to use your client relationship management tool for tracking of touches. Record all conversations. Always schedule the next touch. When I say record all conversations, I don't mean put your little speaker on and record it like we're recording this training. I mean it in the sense that in your CRM, you write what you talk about. So maybe a person was complaining to you that a street light was out. When you call them back next time, hey, did they ever get that street light fixed? Boom, they start going, yeah, but it took them 3 weeks and blah, 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 blah. But it opens them up. Or they tell you a little about, they tell you about little Johnny's football game or whatever it is. Write those things down, record those things in your client relationship management tool, so that when you call them the next time, you can pick up where you left off and develop a relationship. And that's what we're trying to do here. Automate letters and other collateral. Send them a market update once a month. You can do that easily in your CRM. Personalized touches. Don't do dear neighbor in your emails and anything that you send. Put their name on it. Very simple. And our CRM has the power to do that for you. Develop your list. Again, use Cole's Realty Resource or something similar to obtain names, addresses, email, and phone numbers. If you don't have that, maybe it's a cheaper solution. You can purchase a list for targeted marketing. You can purchase it by profession, by neighborhood, by any which way you want. And there's another product, if you want to look into it, called Polk. Polk mailing services will get you, oh, hey, I want to get all the school teachers that work in my town. Number 6, start with an introduction letter. Anybody have a friend out there that when they start talking, they talk like they're in the middle of a conversation? You ever one of those friends? No? I knew a guy in New Jersey. He'd come up and start talking about like mid-conversation, and he'd be sitting there like, what in the world is he even talking about? And then you'd finally get the backstory and work into what the heck he was talking about. But it was just so weird. But that's what it's like if you just start mailing postcards, right? They don't know who you are. You just spent $250, $300 to mail postcards out that people are throwing in the trash because they don't know who you are. Well, how about this? Just make photocopies in your office, right? Hand these around, door knocking. When I say door knock, just put them on people's doors or whatever. Get them to them. You don't have to knock on the door and say, here, I have a little letter for you. Just put them there, right? And introduce yourself. Have your broker introduce you or do it yourself. I have a great introduction letter that I'm going to show you. It's activity 3, and I'll share that from this module. But introduce yourself as a proud resident of the neighborhood if you're doing your neighborhood. If not, a proud whatever of the town. However, whatever you're looking to do, introduce yourself as someone from the same profession or having the same hobby, interest, fraternal group, common ground. Put your picture on the letter. Those of you that don't put my picture, you have to put your picture. Some people will remember you by face. Some people will remember you by name. Also, always add your social media, including your Facebook group, which we talked about how important that was in the last training. Okay? So they can join. Invite them to join. And of course, invite them to use you or refer you to any of the friends that need a realtor. So, all right, next list. Let's go through 8 farming tips. Number 1, just listed, just sold postcards. They're as old as time itself. For whatever reason, they still work. Why do they still work? At first I was like, man, what a waste people sending these out. No, people are always interested in what their house is worth. And when something sells close to theirs, or in their neighborhood especially, oh, wow, that house sold for $550,000. Wonder what ours is worth. That's what gets them triggered. And that's why those postcards still work. Look who's been busy mailers. These are mailers you can do. I have some pretty good ones of this. I can show you samples for anybody that's interested, where you sell 6 or 8 houses in an area. If it's in the neighborhood, it's even better. And all of a sudden people say, oh, he sold that house, that house, that house. Oh, yeah, well, that's the guy I want to sell mine because he knows my neighborhood. You use your own listings and sales here. So if you're a newbie, this one may not, not be ready for this one yet, but tuck it away because it's a very powerful one once you can. Use other agents' listings and what they sell and just present them by you. Look who's been busy. Maybe you take The Office. And you can see activity 4 from this module for more on that. Number 2, follow-up phone call. Always follow up. You can use a survey call. People are interested in surveys, right? Ask how long they've lived in the neighborhood. What do they like about it? What's going on in the neighborhood? Those types of things. Stuff that's going to get them open and talking. Think about how you pick up a phone when somebody calls, if you even do. If you pick up a phone that somebody's calling you that you don't know who their number is. Total defensive these days. You got to break that down. Asking questions about neighborhood helps do that. And of course, always find out what they're committed to. Do I say this every week? If I don't, somebody better call me out. That's your number one goal as a realtor, to find out with every person that you've ever spoken to, what they're committed to. Number 3, identify nosy neighbors.
Go into that a little bit more,
Into
what they're
what?
committed to.
Are they looking to move today, in 6 months, in 6 years, in 60 years? What, do they want to die in their house? I want to know you want to know what every person you've ever spoken to is committed to. Person you meet in the grocery store line, find out what they're committed to. And forgive me, guys, for those of you online, we got mold in here after this thing. You can hear my voice is dropping. I'm itching.
Oh no. In where? In your house or in the office?
In the office.
Oh.
I'm gonna make a call. I'm gonna make a call after.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't come in. I'm super allergic to that.
Me too. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 3, identify nosy neighbors. I have one. I shouldn't say this because we're on a live broadcast. She's old. I have one across the street from me. She's in everybody's business. Identify neighbors that like to discuss other neighbors in the neighborhood. Oh, you know what they're doing. You ever have one of those neighbors? Yeah. Find out who's interested in selling. Well, I heard the people down 3 doors down, they're going to move because nobody likes them. Okay, great. What do you care if anybody likes them or not? You just want to get them a list of house. When they refer you to someone, this is really encouraging bad behavior, but that's okay. When they refer you to someone and you get a sale, thank them with a gift. Hey, you know what? Thanks for letting me know that everybody hates the neighbors 3 doors down and they were thinking about moving. Give them something nice. Maintain that relationship. Number 4, sponsor a local team or a charity event. I've had several agents come to me through the years, be like, hey, can we get the office to sponsor my kid's baseball team or softball team or football team? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want your kid's team to have Realty One Group Beyond on their shirts? I want that, trust you me. But why would you want that and not have your name as the realtor on it? Doesn't make any sense. Sponsor it. Sponsor a charity event. I'm running a charity event on Saturday for victims of the hurricanes. Sponsor a youth team, a local sports team. Make sure you go to those games. Don't just, hey, here's it's $15 a shirt. We need 20 shirts. Okay, here's $300 and your name's on it. Great, but wait a minute. Be there. Show up to the games. Bring refreshments, right? It doesn't have to be anything real fancy. And all of a sudden, you're cementing your message. You're reinforcing that message. Spokes on the bicycle wheel again. Put an ad in the local paper or somewhere supporting them. You can put it on social media, have a thing going out, thanks to them or whatever else. Again, letting more people know and reinforcing the message. Car magnets. You guys see my truck. My truck's all wrapped up with car magnets. Put them on your car and leave them. I met one of our agents that way. He was following me down the street and he called me, hey, can you help me? I'm kind of struggling in this market. Do you have any ideas? How are you doing? It's making you successful. I said, well, I'm a broker. I actually train agents to be successful. I had a conversation. He now hangs his license here. First time, when I first had it, it kind of freaked me out. Is all of a sudden I'm out there and somebody's going like this with their phone. And I'm like, what the heck are they doing? And I realized they were scanning the QR code and going on my website. Awesome. If you can, like I have 2 cars. I have a car and a truck. I'll go down on the weekends, find a busy shopping center, find the most prominent place and put my truck there. It works. Free advertising once you buy the magnets. Park prominently at local events. I had we're going to kill two birds. We're going to talk about the last and this one. I had an agent that worked for me that was his kid's soccer coach. They'd have hundreds of people show up for these soccer games on the weekends because there was like 20 fields. His kid used to always be kind of sour with him because he would park right where everybody had to pull in. And of course, the poor kid had to walk. I don't think the kid cared on the way there, but on the way back after he's played, an hour of soccer, he's like, geez, now I got to walk a mile to my car. But the realtor knew that everybody had to drive through right where his car was going to be and see those magnets. Park prominently at open houses and showings. Don't pull in the driveway and tuck yourself in. Park yourself out in the street if you can. Have those magnets showing. It's free advertising. Use it. Number 6, host a seller or buyer seminar. Partner with an agent with an adjacent farm. Partner with a mortgage person, title person, home inspectors, remodeling companies, landscapers, anybody you can think of. Cleaning person. I actually have a cleaning person that asked me to do this not too long ago. And let's see how that works out. And present yourself as the local expert, teaching them how to sell a house or how to buy a house. And that's why mortgage and title are so important. When buying a house, you want a mortgage person to partner with. When selling a house, a title person will help you. Advertise the event everywhere. Website, social media, your blog, your website, distribute flyers, do a Facebook invite. You can do an Evite invite if you want. You might have to spend a little money on those. They're not necessarily free. Actually, Evite, I think now if you're doing a free event, won't charge you. But all those types of things and get people to show up. Number 7, welcome new neighbors. Why am I going to welcome somebody that just bought a house from another realtor? Because that realtor's not going to follow up with them. This is a long-term plan. Remember, farming's long-term. So create a welcome package. Bring them dinner. Provide them with a local restaurant coupon. And all you're doing is building a relationship with them. And if their realtor is dropping the ball, which many of them do, say, I don't want to give how many I think do, 8 out of 10 maybe, you can now jump in. And now when they have that referral, it's going to go to you, not their realtor. When they get another job and have to move again, or something happens and they need a bigger house, whatever it is, you're in. Number 8, mailings. Mailings. Do they have to be actual physical mailings every time? No. Can you do door hangers? Can you do, gifts? Can you do other things? Announcements of something you're doing in the community? Yes. You don't have to spend 12 months. You want to have something every month, but not all 12 months have to be something where you're paying for postage. So send regular mailings or communications, use testimonials, give away branded notepads. I don't use those anymore, but a lot of people still do. Magnets. I told you guys about the magnets. We used to do schedule magnets, right? So Tampa Bay Lightning getting ready to start, give away Lightning ones. And when the Rays start, Rays ones. When the Bucks start, Bucks ones, that type of thing. It's a little bit tougher in Florida in this area because I'm a Bucks fan and a Lightning fan, only because I went to college here and I was never really into football. But I'm a diehard Phillies fan. You give me a Rays schedule, it's going to go, magnet. It's probably not going to go anywhere. There are a lot of fans here from different areas that don't like the local teams. So it's not quite as powerful as it is like when I was living in New Jersey, South Jersey, which was all, Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers. And, you just had a better percentage of people that were going to put those up. But we talked about magnets a couple of weeks ago. I was telling you I had an agent that created a magnet that had the conversions, how many ounces are in a cup and all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, I'll be dead and that thing will still be on my refrigerator. And again, not that she's a competitor, she's not, whatever. But, even if she was, heck, if somebody sent me that from Remax, it probably would go on my refrigerator because as somebody that cooks, I need that all the time. So think of, magnets, think of something that's going to have lasting power. Some people use calendars, get 12 months out of that. Relevant articles. Share relevant things that are going on. Be careful what you share. Did anybody see the Wall Street Journal over the weekend? They're expecting our real estate market to fall apart here. People, they're saying that you know, Florida, Tampa in particular, you know, it was the boomtown place to go in COVID, and now it's going to be the boomtown place to leave. Listen, if you're a realtor, let me tell you something. Don't worry about it, because you know why? That means you're just gonna have more listings, right? 2 years ago, you had more buyers than you had listings, and you had that problem. Now you're gonna have more listings, and it's okay. Houses will sell. We'll teach you how to do it. This is actually going to be a good thing for you guys that stick through this. I'm excited with the opportunities we have. We got flipper opportunities coming up now with a lot of these houses that sadly were damaged during these storms. So don't take a negative on this. Take a positive approach. But point being, share relevant articles, filled with the relevant articles. And if you haven't seen that article that was in the Wall Street Journal, hit me up and I'll send you the link. And create a neighborhood directory. People have become way more private than 10 years ago when I wrote this training. Actually, I wrote this training in 2022, but some of these things, you know, I had in other trainings. But point being, you know, you do need to be careful a little bit about that. But you know what? Somebody says, no, that's okay. But as you create a neighborhood directory, what's ended up happening? Those people are giving you their name, their email address, their phone number. I told you I'd give you ways to backdoor to get their phone number and their stuff. Neighborhood directory. Calendars, as we already talked about, yearly, monthly. Again, you can do it as a magnet. You can do it as an actual calendar. Great thing to give away. Keeps you in front of people. Seeds. I just saw somebody did this. They had these you know, burpee seeds or whatever the heck they were, and they had their information on the package, and it says, "Come grow with me." Actually, I think they did it on a card, which was probably a way cheaper way to do it. Come grow with me. Great idea. Branded Post-it notes, pens. Pens are still big. Jessica worked for me. She had a beautiful pen. In fact, I still use her pen sometimes the very few times I actually write something. Professional brochures with your services. We talked about these welcome kits. We can create those, help you create them. You should have one for a buyer, one for a seller. I will help you guys do those. You should have them with you at all times. You're out someplace and somebody says, yeah, you know, we're thinking about buying, or we're thinking about selling, or we're thinking about whatever. Boom. Hand them a brochure. Because you know what the guy down the street did? Hand him a business card, if you even have one on him. What are you gonna read? A brochure or a business card? CMA mailings, free market analysis. Always be offering a free market analysis. The do you qualify hook on the CMA, right? You always want to do something that makes somebody, oh, I hope I qualify. When people feel that way, they want things more. We live it, it's kind of sick, but it's true. People want what they can't have. Trust me. Think about dating. If there may be this guy or this girl that's just always all over you, and what do? You get annoyed and you blow them off, right? They may be the perfect person for you, absolutely perfect person for you, but they like you too much, and so you reject them. Now all of a sudden that person starts seeing somebody else, and they stop paying attention to you or whatever, and all of a sudden you happen to look over and, oh my God, what did I get? And now you're sitting there with the, you know, the pit in your stomach. What did I do? It's people want what they can't have. Right? I mean, you know, it's crazy, but it's true. And that's what the do you qualify hook, make people think about. You know, we talked about in buyer's training, when somebody calls you and asks about how, hang on, let me see if it's still available. You're doing the same thing as that dating scenario I just threw. Offering over the phone market analysis. People call, and now you get an over the phone market analysis. Of course, when you do those, what's going to happen? You're going to give a real broad number. Your house is worth somewhere between $450,000 and $480,000. Was it worth 450 or 480? I want to know. Well, I can give you an exact number, but I do need to actually see your house. You're in the door. In a hot market, you'll be amazed how much your house is worth in this market. We were using that a couple of years ago. Works like a charm. These days, it's going to be more like we can get you top dollar for your house. And that's going to help us to get you guys listings. 7 tips for effective mailings. Number 1, shared cost mailings. Partner with local professionals, homeowner services. On the mailing, say, this is someone I know that I recommend to you. Helping those other businesses. Again, building relationships with other businesses is a farm inside a farm. Share the cost. Makes it way cheaper. Coupon mailers. Value in coupon mailing books. You can use the entertainment book if they still have
Miguel,
that.
can you go back to that
Yes.
that previous slide for a second?
Sure. What would? Yep.
Can you give me an example of partnering with local professionals?
Sure. I get a mortgage person, title person. I get an investment company. You know, like people work with, you know, like Morgan Stanley or Charles Schwab. A professional like that. I can get a chiropractor. I could get a local pizzeria. I can get whatever. Let's all go on an ad together, because the $200 ad, right? If I get 10 businesses, is only going to be $20 each, not $200 each. I can afford
Right.
$20, right? I don't want to, and it's the power again of reinforcement. Oh, wait, well, I know the guy that owns the pizza place. So if he's on this ad with the guy that's the chiropractor, he must know and trust the chiropractor. That chiropractor must be a good chiropractor. That
Yeah.
investment guy knows Bill. You know, Bill was my realtor. He must be a good investment guy. That's what you're trying to do. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, coupon mailers. As I was saying, the entertainment book, I haven't seen that in a couple of years. That was actually out of New Jersey. I don't even know if they do those in Florida. That's where you buy a book for like $5 or $10, but it's
Oh my
got
God,
hundreds
the
of,
entertainment book.
yeah, hundreds of dollars of coupons. Buy one, get
Yeah.
one free dinner at wherever. And, you know, yeah. And people live by those, and they take those coupons everywhere. Again, I don't know if that's still out there or not, but there are things like it. Buy one, get ones. Share the cost. Again, put several different businesses on it. Create your own coupon mailers, like I say, with all this type of stuff. Number 3, personal envelopes. These cost nothing. Vistaprint will do these for you for nothing. Make it personal instead of the company letterhead. Make it about you. Address by hand. Oh, we all want them just to run through. Does not look professional. Well, guess what? When you go to your mailbox and you see something that's typed with your name on it, what do? You throw it out. You see handwritten, it's like, oh man. And especially nowadays, right? Have you ever gotten a handwritten letter in the mail?
Times from like car dealerships.
No, I mean a personal one. You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have too? Okay. Because I can't tell you the last time I got it. Probably was my grandmother. She died in 08. And she wasn't writing letters for a couple of years because she had Alzheimer's. But I mean, personal letters, you just don't get personal letters. You email, you text, why, you know, whatever. Certainly you might get a Christmas card or a birthday card or, you know, whatever. But by you addressing by hand, the person's thinking this is something personally for them. Car dealership does it in the same reason I'm telling you to do it, because you open that. Hence you knew it was the car. Hence you knew it was the car dealership. Right. It works. That's why I tell you to do it. Write or use a homemade style stamp for the return address. What does that mean? You can use one of the stickers on there, but make it look like a personal one. Use stamps. It's a little bit more expensive, but it makes it look like a personal letter. Use a teaser on the envelope. These work. I got to tell you, these work. You can do something from free offer. You know, there's a big crowd of people out there. If it's free, it's for me, right? Announcing. Big announcement. Huge announcement on the envelope. Act now. Or this is a fun one. Refrigerate after opening. What the heck could be in this envelope? And of course, a magnet for the refrigerator or recipes or whatever. Makes them think. Anything that gets their brain going that's going to make them go like this and open that envelope, use it. Dated material inside. I've gotten those, that they work too. Use odd size envelopes. It increases the number of opens, and do this every few months. Use mailing houses. There are mailing houses. I use again, every door direct mail is how I send stuff usually. You can't with letters and stuff like we're talking about here, but there are mailing houses that'll save you time and ensures that you get the delivery when you want it. Events for success. This is one of the most powerful things that sadly too many realtors never follow up on. I want you guys to be different and follow up because they work. Events are a great way to connect with your farm. Work on your 3-3 that we talked about earlier. Recognition, that people know your name, what you do for a living, and that they or their friends should call you. So what events should I do? Have an Easter egg hunt. Halloween. Have branded candy bags, pumpkin carving, or best costume contests. Thanksgiving. Do a food drive. Have a turkey giveaway. You know, Thanksgiving's coming up. You guys could do this. You could probably, Halloween's getting close, but the candy bags are a great idea. Handing out candy bags in the neighborhood. Hey, you know, come pick up candy bags, blah, 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 and you have them co-branded with your stuff. Pumpkin carving or best costume contest. Again, maybe a little late for that for this one for this year, but Thanksgiving. Food drives and turkey giveaways, people get behind stuff that they feel like they're helping other people. And especially with what's happened in our area with the hurricanes. Christmas, Toys for Tots. I have an agent that works with a pizzeria. She's doing it in our office, and she found that she was getting way more toys in the pizzeria. And she was spending some time there and whatever. Set up a Toys for Tots. Valentine's Day, have chocolate roses. Mother's Day, come grow with me seeds. 4th of July, do lawn flags. With the lawn flags, you staple your business card to them. Labor Day, do back to school coupons. That in Florida, by the way, is you've got to do them before Labor Day because you go back to school long before Labor Day. Alert local media. Anytime you do one of these, tell the media we're doing a turkey drive, or a food drive. We're doing Toys for Tots. We're doing whatever. The media, papers like the Patch, these local papers, even bigger papers, they're in a huge war because of the internet, and they need content. So everyone that you can think of, including the online ones, their content is king. They get paid by the more people that look at their page. It's pay-per-click advertising, right? So if there's an ad on their page, right, they'll get paid by the number of views and when people click on it. So they want more and more people. So what do they want? More and more fresh content. Google looks for fresh content. Give them fresh content by letting them know. And there's activity 6 I give you for this. Neighborhood barbecue. Tell everybody, pull your grills around the front of your house. We're going to walk up and down the street, set up a table. This person's making this, that person's making that. It's a great way for neighbors to get to know each other. And of course, you're at the center of it. Best one I ever did. You guys have probably heard me talk about it before, the neighborhood yard sale. First time you do this, it might cost you $60, $65 to get signs made. But you can create maps. I'll teach you how to do it. You can make people register so you get their name, email, phone number. You build a map with all the places that are on it, and you walk up and down the street handing out maps that have you on the top of it as the person leading this. So powerful. Do them twice a year. I still have people calling me from New Jersey. I left New Jersey 5 years ago. I haven't done one of these in probably 7 or 8 years. Hey, are you doing a neighborhood barbecue this year? Yard sale this year. That's how well they worked. Neighborhood happy hour. We're all meeting at the clubhouse, or we're meeting at a local place. Everybody comes 6 to 8, talk to the bar and have them do like half price appetizers and a happy hour drink or whatever. Do a wine tasting. Do a chili cook-off. Do a cornhole tournament. Guys, be creative. All these things are going to get people out, and they're going to think about you when they think about real estate, and they're going to think about you as the local expert. Okay. Word of warning before you advertise. Remember that advertising can be expensive, so choose your initiatives wisely. You can do a Facebook ad for $30 for $1 a day. I built my new Port Richey group, which is now almost at 32,000 people. I started it February 2nd, 2022 with 0 people. It's now at 30, almost 32,000 people, $1 a day. I haven't advertised it now in over a year. So really, once I got it to like 5,000, 6,000, I let it build itself. Choose education over advertising. You guys get your education for free by taking these classes. So fortunately, it's not a if for then, but make sure you do that. Technology as well. Advertise only when you have the funds to do so, and you know you have the funds to do so through the course of it. Again, it takes 12 months. Make sure you have money for that before, that you have it budgeted, before you all of a sudden get 3 months into it and say, oh, I can't afford next month. Well, you just blew all that money. Why advertise? Create a perception that you're bigger and more established than you are. Request to advertise another agent in the office's listings, and use the ads and listing appointments to create the assumption that you are well established. Where to advertise? Homeowners Association papers. Some churches and synagogues have things. Social media sites, search engines, places that are small. Always include your photograph. This is something I learned in my MBA. My MBA is in digital marketing, by the way, but there was traditional marketing in there too. Never use more than 2 or less than 2 fonts. What does that mean? Always use 2 fonts. If you don't believe me, go mess around with it. I've done this with a couple people, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're right." And I'm like, "Well, it wasn't my original idea. Some marketers have been doing this for years." If you only use 1 font in an ad, it's boring. If you use 3 or more, it's messy. Your head's going all over the place. Use 2 fonts. Always have a call to action. Ask the reader to call you, and always create a sense of urgency. It's better to do something today than wait until tomorrow. Get special business cards, club or organization specific, with the listing printed on the back. Tell the seller you had the cards made to help them promote the sale of their house. In reality, what are they doing? They're promoting you. Imagine how creative you look to one of their friends who may be considering selling their home. Grassroots advertising. There are many low-cost, high-return activities that a realtor can do to advertise. Community outreach initiatives, neighborhood events, community study, targeted just listing, just solds, absentee owners, Craigslist. Do orphan mailings. What's an orphan? An orphan is somebody that maybe your office serviced, that agent's no longer there. You call them and say, "Hey, I'm taking over as your realtor." Open houses. Great way to get in front of people. So again, we have some breakout sessions. I will share them in just a minute. But the community outreach prep exercise, there's a return on investment calculator I'm going to give you, so you can put in what something costs and how many people you're targeting. And then as you get people from that particular thing, you put in there, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4. How many appointments to how many sales? And you can compare and contrast. Well, it only cost me this to get a client here, but it cost me that to get a client there. Doesn't mean you may not still do both, but you ask yourself the question, well, what if I put more money in over here? Will that actually do better? It helps you to make better decisions. And of course, we have some scripts for you of what to say when you do talk to the people, when you call them and things like that. Any questions, comments, etc. And again, I'm going to drop these into the chat right now. Try to drop them into the chat right now. There we go. And I will print them for you, or if you want them emailed, whichever way you'd like. Okay. 4, 5.
Can you email it? That would be easier.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So I've got 6 of these will be coming to you guys once we're done here. All right, any other
Where's
questions?
Oh, advanced farming. It's on the first page. Never mind. I have to fill out my checklist, Bill.
I know you do, and I love that. I wish
And
everybody
for
did.
when we did the 102, what day was that? That
We
wasn't
didn't.
last. Oh, we didn't? Okay.
No, I skipped it by accident. We were supposed to do it today. If you look at
Oh,
if you look at the, I said it said advertising for agents.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we will do that. We're going to do that next week, which actually is good because we're going to reiterate what we did here, just so you guys know
Yeah.
the plan moving forward is we're going to write your 2025 business plans.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to start that next week at the 11 o'clock because we're done 11 o'clocks for the rest of the year before that spins
Okay.
over again. We finished with business planning.
So no more
Um,
11s?
Well, we'll have 11s for the next 3 weeks, up until about
Oh, okay.
Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Did we do the prospecting for Success 101?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Oh,
You may not have been here yet.
I don't think I was here yet.
So we will go through and do those again. Don't you worry. That's this course
Okay.
keeps going every week, and it round robins through those.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
All
is there
right.
any
Well,
more today or no?
no. Because what was planned for today was about teams. And again, the teams that we have, they're not here today and they're not on the call. So I'm just going to
Okay.
forgo that until a better time for them. I know that some of them had flood damage and stuff like that. So I'm not,
Yeah, I know.
we'll do that training when that's not an important training either for either of the two of you. That is not an important training at all, unless you were
Okay.
considering a team. But I always tell people spend at least a year in this business before you'd even consider that. And I'll keep my mouth
Okay.
shut.
So for today, like I wanted to set up like an educational thing that was hurricane decisions, sell or remodel. So do you have a few minutes to talk to me about that? Like how to set up an educational system and what education, like an educational session about that topic and what some of the key decisions and considerations are?
Yep. So let me close out this and just re-sign on to Zoom because I want to
Okay.
close this class out because we're live on
Okay.
YouTube. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for attending, everybody on YouTube that came. We appreciate it. And we will see you